It's a cool, misty morning in late May at the Ross Creek Cedars, a remnant patch of old-growth forest in the rain-blessed northwestern corner of Montana. A Townsend's warbler is singing from the treetops, and in the distance, a varied thrush gives his surreal whistle. Moisture accumulated in the canopy during last night's drenching rain drips steadily to the ground, splashing on lady fern and gold thread leaves, before an aromatic blanket of fallen western redcedar needles absorb them. The morning is relatively quiet. Birdsong is subdued after the rainstorm. Boring, nothing to see here, some would say. But I invite you to pause here, to listen and reflect. The forest is pausing, it seems, pausing to breathe. And within this stillness, each bird call, each raindrop, and each movement is magnified, as apparent as a ripple in a motionless pool. This story is about stillness. It's about noticing what the creatures around us may show us when we stay quiet and slow, when we let the sounds and rhythms of the forest seep into our skin. Mostly, it's an invitation to be still in nature. This one's not so much about me speaking as it is about making space for the forest to speak. If you like, close your eyes as you listen. Let these sounds transport you to a damp western redcedar forest along a mountain stream. Welcome to Wild with Nature. I'm Shane Sater. This story, which takes place in May of 2024, is called Among the Redcedars, Finding Stillness in the Rain-Drenched Forest. If you'd like to read the written version of this story, illustrated with my photos from the field as you listen, you can find it on my website, wildwithnature.com. And now, let's continue with the story. The forest floor is vibrant with the pale greens of unfolding leaves. Lady fern, devil's club, twisted stalk. The gold thread is evergreen, so it doesn't have any unfolding to do right now. The emerging leaves of the wild sarsaparilla are a ruffled burgundy purple. The stream is a constant rushing noise in the background. Raindrops keep falling from the canopy to the forest floor. The air is humid and still. I can catch the faint, rich odor of redcedar duff. The sky is getting lighter now. The sun peeks briefly through the low, gray blanket of clouds. Western tanagers are singing, sounding like hoarse robins among the canopy. I've only been sitting still for a few minutes when insistent staccato chips erupt from the undergrowth nearby. I recognize these chips. A Pacific wren. But as I spot the wren flitting among lady ferns and fallen branches, I immediately notice something very interesting. This bird is carrying a leaf in its beak. The annoyed chipping doesn't last long. The wren apparently decides I pose no major risk and goes back to work. A massive red cedar towers above us. The wren flies to the trunk and disappears under a loose slab of bark. He's building a nest. By saying he, I'm making an assumption, but a well-founded one. Although male and female Pacific wrens look identical, nest building is an activity almost entirely confined to males. Each male builds one to several nests, generally using existing nooks and crannies in stream banks, root wads, and other protected spots in the forest understory. Females choose which nest the pair will use to raise their young. Some of the extra nests may be reused in future years. I continue watching the wren for many minutes. He's very busy, gathering leaves, conifer needles, and what appear to be dead ladyfern fronds from a patch right in front of the nest tree, within 5 yards of it. Mostly, he stays silent. Sometimes I can barely hear his wing whir as he flies to the nest, a globular cup, well hidden and sheltered by cedar bark. At times, the wren remains in the nest for a minute or more, presumably arranging and weaving the materials. Finally, I walk onwards, leaving him to his nest building. He sings briefly. Then he continues making trips to his woven home, roofed with cedar bark, part of the living tree. His song makes me think about the Pacific wren I heard in western Washington in April of 2023, when Rod Crawford showed me a world of spiders, and I learned about a forest floor food web that connects wrens, spiders, and salamanders. And then I return to the present moment, as the cedars breathe, the raindrops drip, the varied thrush sings, and the ladyfern fronds continue their silent unfolding. Thanks for listening. This story, and the whole project of Wild with Nature, is possible thanks to the support of listeners like you. This support includes those of you who share this podcast with your family, friends, and neighbors, my collaborators and fellow naturalists who appear in many of these stories, and also those generous folks who give me the financial support that I need in order to continue. Once again, you can find the written, illustrated version of this story on my website, wildwithnature.com. There, you can also make a monthly donation through Patreon or a one-time contribution in support of my work. It's a huge help, both because it takes me a lot of time and energy to produce these stories, and also just to know that you value this work. Thank you. Until next time, I invite you to get outside and be still. Listen to a spot near the water, in the forest, in the grassland, and see what it has to teach you. If you'd like, let me know what you find.